And now, please welcome Team Belarus and Team Canada. Дамы и господа, приветствуем участников встречи, команду Беларуси и команду Канады.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2016 IIHF World Championship game between Team Belarus and Team Canada. Добрый день, уважаемые любители хоккея, и добро пожаловать на игру международного чемпионата мира по хоккею 2016 года между командами Беларусь и Канады. The game officials for this game have been licensed and assigned by the International Ice Hockey Federation. Представляем арбитров сегодняшнего матча. Судьи Международной Федерации хоккея. The referees of the game are главный судья матча Peter and Mark Wagan. The linesmen are линейные судьи Nicholas Fleury and Miroslav Lukotsky. The starting lineup for Team Canada. Стартовый состав команды Канады. Goalkeeper, вратарь, number 33, номер 33, Cam Talbot. Defenders, защитники, number 8, номер 8, Крис Теннинг. Number 44, номер 44, Морган Райли. Forwards, нападающие. Number 11, номер 11, Брэндон Галлахер. Number 38, номер 38, Бун Дженнер. Number 90, номер 90, Райан О'Райли. The starting lineup for Team Belarus. Стартовый состав команды Беларуси. Goalkeeper, вратарь. Number 35, номер 35, Кевин Лаланд. Defenders, защитники. Number 2, номер 2, Кирилл Годовец. Number 25, номер 25, Олег Евенко. Forwards, нападающие. Number 16, номер 16, Jeff Black. Number 23.
Welcome this Monday in St. Petersburg, Russia. It's day 4 of the 2016 World Hockey Championship as Belarus faces Canada. The Canadians are 2-0, but 12 straight back to last year's World Hockey Championship. 8-0 all-time against Belarus and beat them last year 9-0. You'll see ribbons on the coaches on both benches. This is May the 9th, a solemn occasion in Russia and around Europe. The day they celebrate the end of World War II and the tremendous sacrifices made in this country, especially a parade this morning, military ceremonies, and this evening there'll be more. And right now the focus on hockey here. It's after 4 o'clock local time as Canada faces Belarus. Brendan Gallagher takes a bump there from Charles Lingland of Montreal, Quebec. one of 3 naturalized Canadians who's playing on this Belarusian team, including their goaltender, Kevin Lalonde from Kingston, Ontario. Gallagher centers it, and a quick chance for Boone Jenner, and Lalonde gets the glove down on him, and Jenner in a pushing match with Kirill Gotovets of Belarus. And Belarus had a very edgy game against the United States on the weekend. In fact, one of the defensemen, Ilya Sienkiewicz, is serving a 1-game suspension for a match penalty for headbutting. Dave Lewis, the former Detroit Red Wings and Boston Bruins head coach, second year behind the bench for Belarus. And behind the bench for Canada, Bill Peters, who was an assistant coach last year on the gold medal winning team in Prague, second year coach of the Carolina Hurricanes in the NHL. Eric Brassard digs for the face-off, and Taylor Hall picks it up for Canada. Hall, loose behind the Belarusian goal, centers it, and the shot tapped wide by Corey Perry. Hall has scored in both games for Canada so far. Alexei Kaluzny tried to center it. The pass missed. Andrei Kostitsyn. Andrei and Sergei Kostitsyn playing on the same line for this Belarusian team. As Ryan Murray brings it ahead, gains center ice and fires it down. Roman Zhukov goes back for it. And now Brassard in the forecheck, but Kostitsyn has it. A 3-time 20-goal scorer was Andrei Kostitsyn for the Montreal Canadiens. Spent 7 years in the NHL. And Kaluzhin taken down, and the penalty coming to Canada, as the Belarusian captain, Alexei Kaluzhin, is knocked down. And so Belarus will go on the power play 1 minute and 2 seconds into the first period as Corey Perry goes off.
Now this is going to be a boarding penalty to Perry as he closes on Kaluzhin and gets the stick into the middle of the back. Down he goes, and Belarus, who has 1 power play goal in their 2 games, will get their first opportunity here against the Canadian team that was sleepy at times against Hungary yesterday. They'll get a little more of a physical challenge here from Belarus today.
Charles Linglet centers it, and the puck bounced away from Andrei Stepanov.
The Canadians were actually really complimentary of how hard the Hungarians played yesterday, how every puck was important to them. They really enjoyed playing against them.
Moved in by Kirill Gotovets. Lots of North American experience for him as well. Played at Shattuck St. Mary's Prep School in Faribault, Minnesota. Then went to Cornell University for 4 years. Has a degree in applied economics.
It's astounding to me that he could go, learn the language, and get a degree.
Now Linglet across the line, and the play is called offside. Charles Linglet, 4 years in the Quebec League for Baie-Comeau. He spent the last 6 years in the KHL.
Belarus has given up 12 goals in their first 2 games, and they played the Finns pretty tightly in the first period of their opener. But if they're going to make a game of this, they're going to have to do something on their power play. Their special teams, their penalty killing has not been very good. It was ripped apart in their second game against the United States.
We're in the game against Finland in their opener. Kept it close, and then the Finns broke it open with their power play in the second period. And here's Sergei Kostitsyn with it. Kostitsyn rings it around, the younger brother of Andrei. Finds Kaluzhin in the corner.
There's the guy to watch on the power play, Kaluzhin, the 21-year pro player. Almost 1,000 games in the top leagues in Russia. Now the KHL, but the Russian Super League before.
Played back to Andrei Stas. 35 seconds to go in the power play. Kaluzhin centers it, and that's tipped away by Canadian goaltender Cam Talbot. Boone Jenner has it and fires it down the ice. Kaluzhin is the last link to the greatest moment in Belarusian hockey history, with the country upset Sweden in the quarterfinals of the O2 Olympics in Salt Lake City. Roman Volpat with the long shot that went off the head of Tommy Salo. That was the only game they won in that Olympic tournament. All 8 teams qualified for the quarterfinals. They got blown out in the rest of their games, but it was that one win over Sweden that stands out. It was Vladimir Kopat, that scored the winner against the Swedes. Now brought in, the shot taken there by Artem Demkov. That's deflected up and out with 12 seconds to go in the power play for Belarus.
Chris Tanev closed over on the puck. There you see a little bit of post-whistle stuff that permeated the last part of the Belarus-United States game. Nikita Komarov looks at Brendan Gallagher and notes the size difference. If he doesn't know Gallagher, he'll find out in a hurry that they're not going to get him to back away.
Sent back down to the Belarus end. And Perry's up and ready to come out for Canada.
Team Canada is playing at full strength. Команда Канады играет в полном составе.
Nikita Ustanenko moved it ahead for Belarus, doing their lineup, just added. Belarus held a couple of spots open as Mike Matheson takes a shot. That goes wide. And brought ahead now by Nikita Komarov making his tournament debut. He was a healthy scratch in the first 2 games for Belarus. McDavid swings it back in front, trying to find Hall. That was knocked away. And Linglet chips it back up to center ice. Andre Stas plays it ahead. In comes Jeff Platt. The Toronto native fired that wide. And Hall sweeps it back to center ice. If you've not played for another country before internationally and spent 2 years in another country full-time and get a passport, you're eligible to play for them under IIHF rules. That's how the likes of Lalonde and Jeff Platt, along with Linglet, are able to play for Belarus. If you have played for another country before, it's a 4-year full-time commitment to the new country, and you have to obtain a passport. That's how Nigel Dawes and Dustin Boyd, who have played for Canada at the World Junior, are now playing for Kazakhstan. Gonovets up for Sergei Gostitsyn. Back for Gonovets, trying to drop it back for Andre Gostitsyn. And Max Domi kicks it away to the sideboard. Sergei Gostitsyn into the corner for Kaluzhny. Andre Gostitsyn tried to play it back, picked off for a moment by Mark Stone. Shoveled ahead by Domi. Mark Scheifele all over Oleg Yavenko, the big defenseman for Belarus, who was right in the middle of things all day against the United States.
6'7" defenseman, got 155 penalty minutes in the American Hockey League this year.
He was signed as a free agent by the Columbus Blue Jackets for an AHL contract after trying out for both New Jersey and Boston. Stepanov brings it ahead for Belarus. Swings back and O'Reilly was show up by Elizabeth. Now a steal by Jenner, but he's offside. Canada's got to tag back up. And Elizabeth has it back. Conversion. Wide to Christian Tinkle, who plays it back down the Canadian zone. Icing waved off as Boone Jenner goes back and picks it up. Jenner for Mike Matheson. Florida Panther defenseman comes in, a sharp angle shot. And the save made by Kevin Lalonde.
Matheson played just 3 games in the regular season for Florida. Played 5 in the playoffs. A really smooth skating defenseman, the Panthers' first-round pick in 2012. Another one of those youngsters in Florida that's about ready to make his mark. That is going to be an excellent defense. I would say long-term, Gord, but we know that eventually they're going to have to pick and choose between the guys. We've got Ekblad and Goodbranson and Kulikov, and you can't pay everybody, but Matheson has got the look of a really good NHL player.
Alexander Pavlovich sweeps that down to the Canadian end. He and Ryan Murray collide hard in the corner. Puck skip high off the glass, and McDavid moves it out. Alexander Kutarov plays the KHL. Lines it back across for Dmitry Korobov. Brought in by Kutarov. Spins back in the corner. Murray steps into him. And here's Jeff Platt on it. Platt played some NHL games for Columbus and Anaheim. Now brought in by McDavid. Drops it back, and the shot taken by Cody Ceci. Loose puck. Lalonde trying to grab it. And Ceci with a late bump in there. Brad Marchand in as well. And Brad Marchand right in the thick of things as the puck was loose for a moment in the crease of Belarus. 13:37 to go in a scoreless first period here in St. Petersburg.
Making me to
Marchand has scored a career-high 37 goals for the Boston Bruins this year. First time he's topped the 30-goal mark. He has a shorthanded goal in this tournament. He scored more shorthanded goals in the last 5 years than any other National Hockey League player.
He and Patrice Bergeron played so well together in Boston. And Marchand, one of those players that's on the fringe of that Team Canada World Cup roster. Wants to continue to produce, to push himself into the final 7 selections.
Off the face-off, Derek Brassard, a scrambled draw. Hall trying to pick it out. And now Corey Perry on it. Lingland has it. And swings it rink wide for Platt. He can fly, Jeff Platt. Came busting in. Lingland, a sharp angle shot, knocked away by Talbot with Platt right in the crease. Here's Brassard along with Hall. Fired right down. Lalonde makes the stop and hangs on.
When you're playing in a game where you're the underdog, the one thing that you want to build is believability. And it's not period to period. The believability is commercial break to commercial break. 6 minutes in the first period, then 8 minutes later, you have another commercial break, and Belarus has done that. They get a scoring chance as Lingland and Platt fly up the ice, get the puck towards Cam Talbot, and so you break the game down as small as you can, try and have success from one break to the other, and it's been a good start for Belarus.
Sergei Kostitsyn racing to it. Knocked by him, and Gonovets picks it up. Stolen by Domi. Max Domi hit there by Yavenko. Domi has it back. Domi back for Cody Ceci. Ceci in behind the goal for Stone. Mark Stone loose in the corner. Down for Scheifele. Mark Scheifele gets loose, feeds it back in front. Ceci with a drive that was ticked wide by Lalonde and back down the ice.
Well, did Ceci come in at the right time? Perfectly timed, and the one-timer hammered just wide.
Ryan Murray got stood up. Brendan Gallagher swings back to pick it up. Gallagher comes to St. Petersburg after an injury-ravaged NHL campaign. Broken fingers and required surgery, then a nasty lower body injury after doing the inadvertent splits. Now a wraparound try, rebound. What a save by Talbot on Dmitry Korobov. Ustanenko brings it around, and at the point, Tinkle can't hold it.
Well, Talbot made some excellent stops in the opener against the United States. That was a terrific save with the left pad.
Back goes Dumba for it. Arthur Gabler steps into him, and it's broken out by Ryan O'Reilly. O'Reilly sends it down the line. James Jenner digging for it. Taken away by Roman Dukov. Plays for Yunost Minsk in the Belarusian league. So there's a Dynamo Minsk that plays in the KHL. There's also a domestic league in Belarus that a number of these players play for. Minsk is about an hour-and-a-half flight straight south of here. Katarov plays it back out for Korobov. Drops it back. Dukov goes behind his back on Matheson. Spins back in the corner. Dukov feeds it back. Komarov can't hold it. Marchand busting in. And Komarov shields him off. Now Duchesne picks it up. Delayed offside indicated against Canada. And now play is called. And once again, Marchand is into it. This time with Korobov.
Belarus with the best chance of the game. This play's almost offside at the blue line on the far side. And as Stas goes around the net, the rebound comes out to Stepanov. And from about 8 feet, his shot goes to the side of Talbot, who flashes out the pad to make the save. Two assists in the last game for Stepanov. He almost had his first goal here tonight.
Andre Stas has scored a beautiful short-handed goal against Finland in the opener. Plays it back. And now Gonovets brings it ahead. Gonovets was a third-round pick of Tampa back in 09. Fired that wide of the goal. And Stas took a whack at it and missed it. Morgan Riley dribbles down to Talbot as that clearing attempt went off the skate. And Talbot holds on.
Canada's going to have to pick up the pace here in the defensive zone. Quicker to pucks. Little quicker puck movement as Belarus has buzzed all over top of them here in the first 9 minutes or so. Dave Lewis must be pleased with the start that he's seen.
Well, Belarus has been known for pulling upsets internationally. Beat the United States last year in the World Championship. Beat the U.S. in the 95 for the 05 World Junior in Grand Forks. And of course, that game against Sweden. Kind of announced their arrival rate. In 99, tied the Russians at the World Championship. And then in 2000, beat them.
They have some skill. They can skate and they work hard. And the smaller countries, the biggest challenge is keeping up to the pace of the larger nations.
Gallagher on the loose puck, slides it over to O'Reilly, back at the point for Ceci. Cody Ceci, a long wrist shot, that was tipped in front by Gallagher, goes wide. And now the Belarusian net has become dislodged. That end has seen this happen far more than the other. And it seems like that one peg is the problem.
Well, we were standing down by ice level before the game, and it's no secret these pegs don't hold the net.
Like spaghetti noodles.
Like, my kids have stronger Legos than these things, and they're plastic, and they're so flexible. You can see just the tail end of it as the nets drop back on. The ones in North America have give to them. These, I mean, we were basically twisting them in our hands, and if there's any collision with the post, that thing's going to slide off in a hurry. That's more common in Europe than back home.
Shots are 4-2 Canada in a scoreless first period. Richie Korobov sends it down. Korobov actually played 3 games for Tampa a couple of years ago. Brought in now by Perry with Brassard and Hall. Corey Perry got bumped hard into the corner boards. Hall comes in for it. Bouncing puck picked up again by Hall. Swivels back and trying to put that through the feet of Korobov, and Korobov stays with him and finds conversion. Away comes Anton Demkov across the line. He falls, and Perry picks up the loose puck. Matt Dumba for Derek Brassard. Snaps that pass rink wide for Mike Matheson, the defenseman jumping in. Matheson. He scored in Canada's win over Hungary. Swings it down to Hall. Hall fights up the check of Yavenko, who throws him down. Now centered by McDavid. Hall chips at him, loose puck, and somehow kept out. Rebound. McDavid gets the shot away. The line is down, and Connor McDavid turned away, and there's a goaltender and 3 defenders sprawled in the crease for Belarus.
McDavid's going to get at the end of this chance, but this starts in a puck battle in the corner. Taylor Hall and Yavenko, and you see Hall get to the front of the net. Yavenko doesn't have a stick. It's in the corner, and right when McDavid's going to chip this over the goaltender, Demkov comes back from his wing position to get a stick on McDavid here. Oh, what an effort by Gorovets, diving over top of Lalonde in the net as the fans wait and hope, and the game stays scoreless.
It took a village to make that stop.
Well, they had pretty much everybody in the blue paint.
Hard to believe they could all fit.
The only guy missing was Patrick Maroon.
We'll see the United States against Finland later. Maroon's had some issues with the IIHF crease rule through 2 games.
I think he's going to get it. I think eventually he's going to get it.
Back at the point, held by Riley. His shot knocked away by Korobov. And Yukov picks it back up and plays it around. Racing in is Chris Tanev. The puck rattles high off the glass, moved out by Stepanov. Morgan Riley, Canada's leading player in terms of minutes played, over 20 minutes a game, the only player averaging over 20. McDavid drops it back. Marchand's belted down there by Stas, and Belarus brings it back the other way. Evgeny Lizavets in across the line. Looks for Stas, couldn't get a stick on that. Arturas Gavrus plays into the corner, and Duchesne has it back for Canada.
Saw a little glimpse of Morgan Riley and the skating ability that we're used to seeing in Toronto. Stepanov, who can really go for Belarus, chased him behind the net, and Riley was gone.
Chipped down by Sam Reinhart. Reinhart picks it back up. Reinhart's been the 13th forward so far for Canada. Centered from Stone. The quick shot by Reinhart, knocked away by Lalonde. And the puck goes up and out of play.
Really nice give and go. Sam Reinhart has never been the quickest skater. I describe him as having a quick mind. When Reinhart reads the play, seems to be able to get to the right place quickly. He doesn't get there with blazing speed, but a fantastic season in Buffalo. 23 goals. They moved him to the wing, a natural center, but he and Stone, 2 clever players, combine on the give and go and a scoring chance.
Now a loose puck in the corner for Reinhardt digging for it. Godovets plays that away from him. And Kaluzny brings it ahead. You pointed out in the first game, Kaluzny uses an unbelievably short stick. It almost looks like something you'd buy in a toy store.
It's the size of a kid's stick. It really is.
Oh, huge hit there by Scheifele as he spilled Godovets. On ahead by Juvenko. Drops it back. Sergei Kostitsyn to Kaluzny with a shot. The pad save made by Talbot.
Talbot's looked really good here in his first 4 periods in this tournament.
Ceci ahead to Reinhardt. Ceci gets his own pass back and backhands it in deep. 7.5 to go here in the opening period. Andrei Kostitsyn. Once the 10th overall pick of the draft by the Montreal Canadiens. Plays it ahead to Alexander Pavlovich. Dumba goes tumbling. And finally picked up by O'Reilly, who slides it back to Matheson. Mike Matheson, the Montreal area native, who played 3 games for Florida in the regular season and then 3 in the playoffs, chips it down, but the play is called offside. 7:04 to go here in the opening period. No score between Canada and Belarus. Back here in St. Petersburg, Russia on day 4 of the 2016 World Hockey Championship. It's gone pretty much according to form on this side of the draw in Group B, but it has been crazy on the other side in Moscow in Group A. Late tying goals, overtime, shootouts, you name it. The Russians upset on the opening day by the Czech Republic, 3-0.
Sure, the Russians are hoping whoever's going to win that Pittsburgh-Washington series gets to it in a hurry, whether it's Malkin or Ovechkin. You know they're going to try and add one of those guys, and in all likelihood will get them. They've got 3 spots, right?
Right, so if Washington were to get knocked out, they could get Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, and Orlov if they wanted. Ryan O'Reilly plays it around and behind the goal for Brendan Gallagher. Matheson steps up.
He's been very active here.
Now loose behind the goal. O'Reilly centers it. Gallagher couldn't quite get to it. And Korobov plays that away. At the point, held by Dumba, back to Matheson. Through the middle for Gallagher. That was tipped away by Korobov. And brought out by Nikita Komarov. Here's Matheson back with it. Played 1 year of college at Boston College, where the Panthers drafted him. And there's Andrei Kostitsyn on it. Up ahead for his brother Sergei. Sergei across the line, tried to drop that back. It got tied up in his skates, and Riley plays it out for Canada. Almost stolen there by Hall, and Andrei Kostitsyn has it back. Back is Morgan Riley for it, being trailed there by Sergei Kostitsyn, who in 06-07 played on the most dominant line in junior hockey for the London Knights. As Riley comes in and shoots, Lalonde makes the stop and hangs on.
Lalonde had to find that Riley offering as it rattled around between his pads. Played in the KHL the last 6 years. Last year, he was the #1 goaltender in the KHL. This year, a little bit of a drop off his terrific numbers of 2 seasons ago.
Face off won by McDavid, who races to it. Plays it back, and Murray has to chip that around for Ceci. Ceci around for Murray. The puck just got to him. Now picked off by Stas. Down to Linglet. Charles Linglet back for Stas. Crisscrossing with Platt. A sharp angle shot goes off the outside of the goal. Good pressure again by Belarus as Platt picks it up. Feeds back to Kenkel. Cross he goes. The long shot didn't get there as Evgeny Elizabeth's had it blocked. And now Stas throws it back towards the goal. Almost tipped there by Linglet. Platt. Got it picked off by Murray. Up ahead for McDavid. Chips it there for Marchand. Away with Duchesne. Brad Marchand trying to feed it back to McDavid. That was broken up by Lingland. And the puck goes right down to the goal and knocked away by Elizabeth. Now McDavid with the steal. He got taken down. That'll be a penalty against Belarus as Christian Kenkel will go off for the hold, and Canada will get its first power play with 4:43 to go in the first period.
A mistake for Belarus as the puck is intercepted by Connor McDavid. There's the hold, and for Belarus, who's played a terrific 15 minutes, now they have to kill a penalty, which is a problem.
Right.
4 power play goals against in their first 2 games.
And they got blitzed by Finland.
Number 18.
Blitz scored 3 times on the power play. They punished them pretty badly with it. Patrick Lyonnais. Part of that will come later against Austin Matthews in a much talked about matchup here at the World Championship. The 2 top prospects for the upcoming NHL draft playing at 8 o'clock local time tonight, 1 o'clock Eastern.
A lot of focus on those 2 youngsters who have got off to really nice starts. Lyonnais just ripped up the power play for the Finns.
Ceci dropped it back for Perry. The pass misfired. And shot on goal by Katarov. Ceci, a career-high 10 goals this year for the Ottawa Senators. Will go home to have a new coach, Guy Boucher, and new assistant coach, Mark Crawford, hired as well. Korobov collides there with Brassard, who picks it up for Perry. Corey Perry back for Derek Brassard. Across the top for Ceci. To Duchesne, back for Ceci. Lots of traffic. Ceci slides it across to O'Reilly. To Ceci. Duchesne tees it up and shoots. That was blocked by Yvenko. Now Duchesne and Yvenko collide in the corner. Centering pass. 2 chances. Brassard shoots and scores. Derek Brassard, power play goal. And it's 1-0 Canada.
What a terrific play by Matt Duchesne to keep the puck alive. Duchesne goes into the corner. He gives up about 35 pounds and 8 inches to Yvenko. And watch Duchesne, when the shot's blocked, this play can be killed, but Duchesne keeps it alive to Corey Perry, who comes out the short side, and Derek Brassard is able to score the power play goal. Canada's second of the tournament. It's Brassard's second goal of the tournament off the Perry shot.
Great year for Derek Brassard with the New York Rangers, cracked the 20-goal mark for the first time in his career, scored 27 times. He's become really known right as a clutch goal scorer in the playoffs for New York.
Brassard's got great playoff numbers, 44 points in 59 games for the Rangers. And he gets Canada on the board here as Belarus's penalty-killing woes come back and bite them again.
We see it so often in these tournaments, Ray, where a lower-seeded team like Belarus will be okay 5-1-5, but as soon as special teams become part of the equation, that's where the roof tends to cave in.
You see Lalonde not happy as this squeaked underneath his arm, but the play really for Belarus is in the corner where Yvenko doesn't quite get to the puck quick enough to clear it away from Duchesne, and Duchesne really stays with it, keeps the play alive, and Brassard's at the end of it to put it away.
There's a timing issue, so the officials are over making sure the right time is on the clock.
You can check the video for the time when we stop the play. We check the video.
And they'll check the video to see when the clock was stopped. We mentioned a moment ago that Sergei Kostitsyn is out there now. He played on one of the greatest lines in junior hockey. Sam Gagner and Patrick Kane combined to score 137 goals for London that year. The 3 of them finished in the top 5 in scoring in the OHL. And a power play that Dale Hunter said was virtually unstoppable. And Sergei Kostitsyn in there on the forecheck now. McDavid knocks it down. Played ahead by Riley for McDavid. Back for Tanev across the line. And the play is called once again at the Belarus line. 3:17 to go here in the opening period. Now look at the Brassard goal.
Nice play from Perry behind the net as he has the look of going back behind the net, and he comes back out the short side to Brassard, and Canada has the lead.
One of the amazing things about the World Championship is how players who wouldn't know each other, have never played together, quite often have been rivals on different teams, will suddenly find chemistry.
And they find out that the other guy's probably not as bad as they think he is. You just It's really one of the most fun parts of this tournament is getting to know guys that you would never otherwise know. Get to play with different guys that you never get to play with. And I like playing with different players from different teams. It's new.
Well, what a move by Domi, winding it in. Drops it back for Scheifele. Domi gets it back. Max Domi with 3 Belarusian players on him. Finds Scheifele. Scheifele back for Domi. A quick shot. He fired that wide. Dumba holds the line. Plays it down for Stone. Brings around for Domi out of his reach. Matheson steps up. Matheson, by the way, played 3 years at Boston College. And bounces back to Domi.
Interesting that Domi and Reinhardt appear to be the 2 forwards that are flip-flopping on that line with Scheifele and Stone. And a couple of years ago in the World Junior Tournament, those 2 just lit it up, along with Anthony Duclair.
By the way, in the one period in Moscow, Latvia and Russia are scoreless.
Russia has not had an easy go.
No, it's amazing. They've made this much harder on themselves than they need to.
And they get shut out in the opener against the Czechs.
Then they got into a crazy game against Kazakhstan.
It's a 6-4, right? 6-4 win.
3-3 after 1.
And now here they are again.
But we've seen this before.
The pressure mounts, though, when they're at home. And there have been plenty of cases where the Russian team just has not been able to find their game, but there's lots more occasions where they start to hit the downhill side in the quarterfinal and become a really formidable team.
Hall back for Perry, and Broussard races to it.
Igor Larionov once said that there is a great Russian saying that the first pancake is often lumpy. And they've got a couple of lumpy pancakes going so far.
The Russians have the greatest expressions. They don't always work well in translation. My favorite is the bread of the poor always falls with the buttered side down. Broussard works his way in, drops it back for Perry. In comes Corey Perry now. Perry still on it, trying to find Broussard. Perry shields off Linglet. Back at the point, Murray. Fan on the first pass, now finds Hall. Chips it down to Broussard. With time, walks in, shoots at the goalpost. And Hall back on it. Hall taken down by Linglet. Guitarov plays it back in the corner, but Perry picks it off. Played back to an open wing, and Riley jumps up on it for Canada. Morgan Riley down for Ryan O'Reilly. For Taylor Hall. For Ryan O'Reilly. Canada changing, buying some time. Morgan Riley slides it across for Tanev. A rolling puck down to O'Reilly. Now Jenner comes on. Gallagher picks it up. Final minute of the opening period. Tanev shoots off the leg of Dukov and back out to center ice.
Gord, with the bigger offensive zones, this is one of the things that you can use as strategy, and we've seen it quite a bit from Canada, is you can change easily in the offensive zone because you can spread the defenders out. The play doesn't get broken up as quickly as it does in North America.
Linglet brings it ahead, lost the puck, and fired back down by Gallagher. Talking about players bonding, the Brendan Gallagher, Brad Marchand ping pong matches and friendship, maybe the most unlikely pairing of all, Boston and Montreal together. And here comes Marchand in a race for the loose puck, and Marchand gets there first. Marchand in, shoots, and Lalonde makes the save. McDavid tries to center it, and picked up by Yavenko. Final seconds now of the period, but Brad Marchand with a great chance turned away by Kevin Lalonde. Marchand at the line. The play is called offside. Andre Kostica with a late bump on him. 10-5, the shots on goal for Canada. Derek Broussard, the power play goal to take Canada to a 1-0 lead.
Между командами Латвии и России. После стартовых 20 минут счет не открыт. 0-0. Teams of Latvia and Russia are playing now in Moscow. After first period, score is draw, 0-0.
Score after first period. Belarus 0, Canada 1. Shots on goal on the first period. Canada 10, Belarus 5. Счет после первого периода. Беларусь 0, Канада 1. Броски по воротам в первом периоде. Канада 10, Беларусь 5.
There, Dave. Okay.
Good? Okay. Second goal of the tournament for you, Derek, and it comes on the power play. I know that's an area you guys wanted to focus on after your last game. Tell me about the goal and how much did you guys focus on that?
Yeah, we just changed our setup there. We're well prepared. You know, we don't have a lot of practice right now, but we're just trying to be better, and we have to use the power play as a weapon.
The line that you're on right now with Corey Perry and with Taylor Hall, you were together since the beginning of the pre-tournament camp in Prague. How do you think that line is blending?
Yeah, well, it's a lot of fun playing those two guys. Taylor's a great skater, and Perry's you know, like, he can score from anywhere, and you know, I'm having a lot of fun, and we have to make a difference.
A little bit of a sluggish start today. You think it took a little bit to get into it?
Yeah, but they're playing hard. They're working, and we have a game right now, so that's what we needed. Especially after the game yesterday. You know, I think our second period has to be a little bit better than the first.
Thanks, Dirk.
All right, thank you.
Наш лед, наша скорость, наша надежность, наш характер, наша поддержка, наши победы. Это наша игра, это наш хоккей, и этого у нас не отнять. Ингосстрах, официальный партнер чемпионата мира по хоккею 2016 года.
В Москве начался второй период матча между командами Латвии и России. Счет матча 1-0 в пользу России.
Talbot faced only 5 shots in the first period in the Canadian goal, but was tested a couple of times. Derek Brassard is the only goal so far in a 1-0 Canadian lead. Canada back in action against Germany on Thursday after 2 days off. Then closes out the opening round against Slovakia, France, and then Finland on Tuesday. Top 4 teams in each 8-team group advance to the quarterfinals. The top 2 teams in this group will stay here in St. Petersburg for their quarters. Teams 3 and 4 will go to Moscow to play theirs. The medal round beyond that will take place in Moscow on Saturday and Sunday, the 21st and 22nd of May. Teams start this second period, 5-on-5 as Chris Tanev goes back for it. And Ryan O'Reilly swings it around for Morgan Riley. Brendan Gallagher chips it back down to the Belarusian zone. It was touched by Yavenko, so icing waved off. Godovets lost the puck there to O'Reilly. Centers it. Gallagher couldn't quite reach it. Now Gallagher back on it. Shoots it down in the corner. Andre Stas on it. That's knocked down by O'Reilly. And finally moved down the ice, and this will be icing against Belarus.
The only goal of the hockey game, Derek Brassard on the power play in the first period. Strong play by Matt Duchesne in the corner to Corey Perry. Perry comes out the short side to Brassard. And then after he had scored on the power play, Brassard makes that sweet move out of the corner, drags it into his feet, and rings this one off the crossbar. When Brassard was traded from, as the officials trying to figure out who's supposed to be on the ice after the icing call, but when Brassard was traded from Columbus to New York, he had 5 points in his first game. Hopped off the plane and, hello, here I am. There's 5 points.
How do you like me so far?
It's been a good time to go talk contract. Just acquired you in a huge deal. You got a 5-pointer. Really skilled player. Just really getting going and into the prime of his career at 28 years old. He's right in the garden spot now.
First time for Canada in a senior level competition. As Cody Ceci steps up, Ceci loose in the corner. Slides it down to Brassard. His centering pass broken up by Godovets and Platts away. For Belarus, shovels it across to Stas. Andre Stas can't get around Ryan Murray. Quickly counterattacks. Throws it into Perry with Brassard. Corey Perry in, shoots, scores! Corey Perry threads it home, and it's 2-0 Canada.
There looks like there's a 2-on-1 break for Belarus. However, it's broken up really nicely by Ryan Murray efficiently. We'll see this here as Murray's the only man back. Ceci's chasing the play. Murray breaks the play up and then finds Corey Perry. Perry wants to pass this, and look how quickly he delivers it when the pass is taken away. Heads up play by Ryan Murray. A couple of points in the tournament for Murray. And he goes right through the wickets of Lalonde, and it's 2-0 as Corey Perry has a goal and an assist.
Corey Perry took the call from Team Canada the day after the Ducks were knocked out by Nashville in the first round of the playoffs. Wasn't named to Canada's preliminary roster for the World Cup, so that's one factor in coming to this tournament. Another, a chance to become the 27th member of the Triple Gold Club, which goes to players who have won the Olympic gold medal, Stanley Cup, and World Championship. Sidney Crosby became the 26th member last year when Canada won the World Championship in Prague. Crosby holds the distinction of having been the captain in the 3 legs, the only player to do that.
What's the Scott Niedermayer Award?
That's the Win Everything Award. That's the Memorial Cup, World Junior, World Cup, then the Triple Gold Club. Funny how winning followed him around. Riley shoots right down to the goal line. McDavid a backhand shot. Trickles just through the crease and wide. Tanev down to Duchesne. Matt Duchesne, 2 minutes into this period, drops it down to McDavid. Connor McDavid. Back to Morgan Riley. Lots of traffic as Riley swings it down the pass. Missed Duchesne. Marchand on it. Swings it back to Duchesne. Good catch there by Matt Duchesne. Banks it off the back of the net. Picked up by McDavid. McDavid winds his way in. Centers it. Bounced off Duchesne's stick. And Kaluzhny has it back for Belarus.
Against Hungary a day ago, Canada came out and took a snooze for about the first 6 minutes of the second period after a first period that was really difficult, and Belarus gave them a real push. Canada's come out and been very sharp here to start the period.
Stepanov gets free in the corner, throws it through the crease. And then able to reach it there was Kavershin. Off the end boards it goes, steered away by Talbot. And Reinhart takes the return pass from Scheifele. Lead pass for Stone. Mark Stone centers it, and Reinhardt can't quite reach it. At the point, Matheson. That's tapped away, and Dumba picks it back up for Canada. Just to finish the thought in the triple gold club, Peter Forsberg holds another distinction. He's the only player with all three legs twice. Conversion works his way in, shoots off the outside of the goal.
Winning followed him around too.
Yeah, funny, what a coincidence.
Both those guys have really good underlying numbers going on.
You mean the number of rings they have?
Just amazing players. Brendan Gallagher will head to the penalty box. A couple of minutes here for slashing as he chops the stick out of the hands of the Belarus forward. Connor McDavid has a chance. He takes it, poked away by Lalonde, and then his backhander just skitters wide of the post. McDavid works his way behind the defenseman, and it's the second one that goes off Kaluzhny's foot and just slides wide of the left post.
Team Canada, number 11.
Korobov for Sergei Kostitsyn on the Belarus power play. Marchand on the penalty kill, we mentioned so dangerous, has a shorthanded goal already this tournament. Fired down the lawn, sweeps it back for Dmitry Korobov. Korobov won a Calder Cup with Syracuse in the American Hockey League back in 2012, that powerhouse Tampa Farm team, coached then by John Cooper. That 28-game winning streak. Now Jenner in shorthanded. Boone Jenner works it in. Milan down, they score. Now they're going to wave this off. Ryan O'Reilly tapped it home. They're going to say he kicked it.
I think O'Reilly gets this with his skate first, then his stick. They're going to review this.
Referee Peter Gebe from Hungary makes the phone sign right away.
Boone Jenner makes the move to his backhand. He's got the whole net, yet still slides it across the front. Watch where Lalonde goes. He's got the whole net here. It goes off his skate. I think, no, he doesn't get it, but that's not a kicking motion, I don't believe.
So the IIHF standard a little tighter than the NHL. In the NHL, you can direct the puck in with your skate. You can't propel it.
And so, as I was going to say, I think this will count. I'm going to wait. This is the first one we've had in this tournament. And so we'll have to wait and see. The initial call was no goal on the ice.
So now the referee who made the call, Gebai, will look at a monitor in the penalty box and consult with a video goal judge. And we'll see if O'Reilly's goal counts or not.
Fanned on at the blue line by Kaluzhny, and it's a 100-foot 2-on-1. Boone Jenner's going to make the fake to his backhand and go back across the net. Off O'Reilly's skate, and it slides into the empty side. That's really close. That would count in the NHL, I believe.
It would, for sure,
yeah,
because you can direct it. In the IIHF, this will be close. I know that's not definitive, but...
Well, it means it will or won't be.
Yes.
As soon as he straps his bucket back on, he'll come out and...
I'm going to say goal. It is a goal. So O'Reilly gets credit for a short-handed goal, and Canada takes a 3-0 lead.
Ryan O'Reilly.
Ryan O'Reilly playing his 13th World Championship game over the last 2 years, Ray. Now has 14 points in those games. He's been a really important player for Canada all along.
Ryan O'Reilly does so many things for your team. He takes 1 million face-offs in Buffalo, 4th of the in the National Hockey League this year. He kills penalties, he plays the power play, he can be your matchup center when you get to that part of the tournament. 2 shorthanded goals in 3 games for Canada. Marchand had the first against the United States, and O'Reilly here 3.5 minutes after Corey Perry had made it 2-0. It's now 3-0.
Golovets brings it out, drops it back. Stepanov was off the heel of Gavrus.
And this is where it has to get discouraging if you're Belarus. You played a fantastic first period. And in 4 minutes now it's 3-0. Special teams have really carried the day here. A power play goal for Canada and a shorthanded goal.
Long shot down at Talbot, steered away from Platt. Jeff Platt back on it. Gets loose behind the goal. Platt wraps it around. Feeds it back to Godovet. He fans with the shot. Platt gets it back. Puts it across to Gavrus. Down for Stepanov. Walks out. Jams at it. Kicked out by Talbot. The puck goes back down to the Belarusian zone. Godovet's with it. Up for Dukov. Dukov drops it back for Andre Kostitsin. In, shoots. That was blocked by Riley. That took a bite out of Morgan Riley. Kaluzhny in the corner for Sergei Kostitsin. Down to Andre. To Sergei, walks in, down to Andre Kostitsin. Final second down his power play. Followed for a moment by Korobov as Gallagher steps out. Riley collides there with Kaluzhny. And the puck bounces free along the wall to Gallagher. Jenner picks it up and swings back. Boone Jenner for Morgan Riley. Riley skates away from Andre Kostitsin and finds Jenner. Boone Jenner in, shoots. And it ramps it off the stick of Korobov, up and out of play.
Jenner had a goal in the first game. The 5-1 win against the United States. Picked up an assist on the shorty just moments ago to Ryan O'Reilly. A terrific season for Boone Jenner. 30 goals in Columbus. Burgeoning power forward. He's got that leader personality that seems to just ooze out of him.
Previous best before this year was 16 goals. Last time he was here in Russia was for the 2013 World Junior Championship. He was handed a 3-game ban before the tournament began for a hit in a pre-tournament game against Sweden.
If I remember right, that was on the end boards, and it was the second year in a row. He had been suspended the previous year for a huge hit against Olimata.
Away comes Brassard along with Hall. Brassard slides it across. Hall shoots off the outside of the goal. He ran out of room. Matheson back with it to Perry. Corey Perry in, walks in. Had to stick with it the last second. Now drops it back to Dumba. Cross to Matheson. Long shot knocked away by Lalonde. The puck loose on the side of the goal, literally on the side of the goal, and finally Lalonde freezes it. 13:27 to go in the second period. Canada with a 3-0 lead. Taylor Hall playing in the World Hockey Championship for Canada for the third time. He's got 11 goals in 20 games in his World Championship career, and you see this line go back to work for Canada. Duchesne, along with McDavid and Marchand. Haven't done the numbers yet, Ray, but this Canadian team is a good chunk over the cap. Last year's Canadian team had a cap number of $125 million.
There wasn't a cap around that was going to contain that team.
No. Maybe the NFL cap, but not even that.
Maybe.
A 10-0 performance by Canada last year to capture the gold. And Duchesne has it now. Duchesne, a member of that team. There's 3 players back from last year: Duchesne, Hall, and O'Reilly. And Ceci wraps it around.
A great line by the Hungarian coach, Rich Chernomaz, who is a Canadian, when he was asking his team and telling them how proud he was about how they played yesterday. He said, you know what the difference is? And the players were kind of waiting for the answer. He said about $60 million.
Gavrus tries to bring it in, and Ceci gathers it back up for Canada. Cody Ceci drops it back to Ryan Murray. And Murray lifts it back to center ice and finds Domi. Backs Domi in, shoots, knocked wide. Domi looks back at the official thinking there might have been a hooking penalty, and now gathers up the loose puck. Domi, between the legs he goes for Tanev. Chris Tanev peels back, Slides it across to Domi. McDavid works in, shoots, and Milan makes a pad save. And now Domi gets a stick in there on conversion, and the puck loose in the corner. Godovets just spins and throws it down the ice. And as Riley goes back, it's icing called against Belarus.
What a look here, and long lead pass from Ryan Murray. He catches Max Domi. That's where Domi thought there would be a potential penalty as Yavenko gets his pole vault of a stick in between his hands. Domi takes it to the front and flips it wide.
We've seen that grin before.
Yep, usually no gloves on when the grin was happening though.
What a World Junior Championship Max Domi had in 2015. Named the top 4 in that tournament. Dumba winds and shoots, and Milan makes the save as Yavenko gives Stone a shove. Yavenko, you can't call him a stone in your shoe. It's bigger than that, but he's a rock in your shoe, I guess.
Domi's going to work himself towards the front of the net when the puck is caught. For some, oh, he goes back. That's Yavenko who had hooked him on the breakaway, and a little pushing and shoving, and not much amounts to it.
Max Domi was sent back to junior as a 19-year-old by the Arizona Coyotes, and then burst out this year, 18 goals in 81 games as a rookie in the desert. That team is built for good things ahead.
The new management group there is going to get some excellent pieces to play with, as there is a lot of very good young forwards in that group.
It's been noted here among some NHL people that the 2 teams with the best young groups of players would be Arizona and Florida, that have both made management changes lately, as Scheifele barreled over Dukov, and they're going to call that a penalty on Scheifele.
Dukov is not getting to his feet here.
So now it's a roughing call, they're saying. Will it be just 2 is the question as Dukov stays down. Now back to his feet.
The official's going to take a look at Dukov, and oh. Scheifele went over top of him. The hit is fine, in my opinion, but Gord, this is when they talk about protecting the players, and I'm not specifically referring to this hit, but a hit that happens all the time, all season long. The charging rule has left the rule book. I know he didn't skate the last 10 feet, but he came about 30 feet. And if they want to protect the players, that's a hit that can be penalized enough to back the player off. Doesn't mean you can't finish them, but it means you can't go through them. And whether the old school guys like that or not, that's something that, in my opinion, they should take a look at as they try to continue to protect the player.
Belarus back in the power play, allowed a shorthanded goal to Canada on its last man advantage. Stas with it in the corner for Andrei Kostitsyn. Kostitsyn goes rink wide for his brother Sergei, being watched there by Jenner. Kaluzhny throws it back, picked off by Jenner. 2-on-1 with O'Reilly. Here they come again. O'Reilly goes up on a change. Jenner shoots. It goes off the stick of Korobov, up and out of play.
Brad Marchand scored a shorthanded goal in the first game. O'Reilly here at the beginning of the second period, a reviewed play off his skate. Umbrella guy's happy.
Does Nate?
It is now.
Okay. There's 2 of them. They showed another guy earlier. Those are big sellers. You want one?
No.
Supposed to rain next weekend.
You may need it.
Godovets keeps away from Duchesne.
Godovets a good skater.
Godovets works his way in, wraps it around. Now a long shot, drifts wide. Off the stick of Stepanov. Platt has it back. Jeff Platt moves it down to Gavros. That's picked off. Moved ahead by Duchesne. He can't find Marchand.
Gord, just to finish the thought on the Scheifele hit, when the old timers say, or the old school guys say, but that hit's always been fine, you're taking the hitting out of the game. When that hit was fine, you were also allowed to protect yourself. So if you were the Belarus defenseman, you would have got your stick up in the cross-check position and the forward would have stopped. That's what we were taught to do. You can't do that anymore either.
Donovets slides it down to Gavrus. And that's frozen by Talbot at the side of the Canadian goal. 25 seconds to go in this power play for Belarus.
Gallagher would be a stone in your shoe.
Yes.
If Uvenko is a boulder.
Yes. And Brad Marchand would be a second stone in your shoe.
That would be an uncomfortable shoe.
That's a painful walk.
Can you imagine those two? They're talking about they play ping pong. The noise that would be coming from those two playing ping pong would be something I could relate to, actually.
They need referees and linesmen for the ping pong game. Because you know they'd argue every call.
Oh, that didn't hit the table, that didn't touch the side, of course.
Korobov. There's a rink wide for Sergei Kostitsyn winding his way in. Shoots, and the glove save made by Cam Talbot. 6 seconds to go. And the penalty to Canada's Mark Scheifele.
Cam Talbot stopped 24 of 25 shots against the United States and has made a couple really good stops here. Not super busy, but he's looked exceptionally sharp, as he did in the last half of the season, more or less, for Edmonton. After a somewhat rocky start, he was signed to a 3-year extension. Peter Chiarelli said that they felt that they were confident and felt that there was enough good to see from Cam Talbot and that he had lots of growth ahead of him, and he finished the year off exceptionally well.
Scheifele out of the box as Marchand collides with Ustanenko.
That's going to be a penalty, a high hit on Ustanenko.
Yeah, so right away Canada goes back to the power play. 9.5 to go in the second period, and Marchand comes over to have a word.
Ustanenko's making his positions noted here. He wants to close on Marchand, but that's a high hit. He comes across and gets his forearm up to the side of the head or shoulder of Marchand, and Canada will go to the power play, looking for their second power play goal of the afternoon.
They got him for elbowing. An option there might have been a hit to the head, which would have carried with it an automatic 10-minute misconduct. So Canada back to the power play. Brassard, Perry, Duchesne up front, Ceci and O'Reilly in the back end. A 3-0 Canadian lead. Russia, by the way, with a 2-0 lead on Latvia. Artemi Panarin and Evgeny Dodonov have scored the goals in that game. But Panarin, who was shaken up in Canada in Russia's last game, is back and up to his old tricks. An electrifying player last year at the World Championship in Prague and was signed as a free agent by the Chicago Blackhawks, who won a multi-team bidding war.
And a contractual headache for Stan Bowman.
Yeah. One more year and then look out. But
he's going to punch through on some bonuses that affect their cap going forward. What a talented player Panarin is.
Here's Brassard, works it back for Ceci. Cody Ceci to Matt Duchesne. Perry standing in front. Ceci a drive at the goalpost. Now Brassard back with it to Ceci again. Here's Duchesne with it. Back to Ceci. Slaps it across for Brassard. Rink wide to Duchesne. He shoots. Lalonde makes the save. Rebound. Duchesne scores! Matt Duchesne flips it home. He's got his second of the tournament. A power play goal to make it 4-0 Canada.
Belarus just gets overwhelmed here when they're shorthanded. That's their 6th power play goal against in the tournament. Matt Duchesne's 3rd goal of the tournament. He had an assist on Brassard's power play goal in the first period. The Ceci shot hits the post. And with Corey Perry setting up shop in front of the net. The puck movement is stopped by Lalonde, and the rebound jumps right back out to Matt Duchesne. He makes no mistake with that one. They never can establish defensive position again while well moved around the outside by Canada. It's now 4-0.
передачи Коди Сиси, номер 5.
Boy, a nasty incident in the game in Moscow. Alexei Emelin just threw a knee out on a Latvian player. He's getting tossed from that game and may get some discipline in addition to that. As McDavid brings it in, Connor McDavid spins back. McDavid winds his way in, has some time, feeds it across. Hall shoots, scores! Taylor Hall! What a feed by Connor McDavid. And it's 5-0 Canada.
Goals in 3 straight for Hall. He's had quite a productive run over the last 2 World Championships. And Connor McDavid throws a little magic on the board. Hold the puck, wait. I was talking the previous game, Gord, about marveling at his edge work and how powerfully he skates. Look at that turn there. There's no chance for Godovets. I had spoken earlier about how Godovets is a good skater. He couldn't hang, as lots of defensemen aren't going to be able to hang with Connor McDavid, and Taylor Hall shoots it into the empty net.
And we're going to be goaltending change now for Belarus as Lalonde comes out after allowing 5 goals on 18 Canadian shots. And so Dmitry Vichekov comes in for Belarus. Vichekov plays in Belarus in the domestic league. So Lalonde, the native of Kingston, Ontario, we'll take a break, and we've talked about this before. There are multiple levels to this World Championship. For Belarus, the goal is to get to the quarterfinals. And to do that, they need to beat the teams below them in the standings. So quite often they will pull their goaltender in a game like this, or maybe not even start him, to save him for the games that, well, realistically, they have a better chance of winning.
Schedule-wise, Belarus couldn't have had a worse start.
Right.
Finns, the U.S., and Canada.
Reinhardt in, shoots, and Milchikov waves at that.
I can almost be certain Milchikov, like a lot of these goaltenders from smaller countries, is going to see pucks delivered at him that he doesn't normally see. They'll come quicker and they'll come from more deceptive angles.
Ryan Murray back for it for Mark Stone, kicks it ahead. And Scheifele pounces on the loose puck for Canada. Knocked away by Korobov. And fed ahead by Ceci for Stone. In comes Hall for it now, Taylor Hall. Now has 9 goals in 13 games going back to last year's World Championship. And Dumba doubles it back in the corner. Gallagher spun around by Stas. And Hall plays it up for McDavid. That pass misfired. Under 7 to go here in the second period. Here's McDavid again, shovels it down the goal line. Gallagher, a quick chance, turned away by Milchikov. McDavid spins off the check of Korobov. From one knee, leaves it there for Gallagher. Brendan Gallagher to Connor McDavid. And McDavid has some time, walks in. Lindgren turned his back on him, and McDavid just followed into the slot and shot it wide. Almost like he was drafting him there. And Matheson plays it out to McDavid. Lines it ahead to Domi. Canada changing as Domi busts in. Drops it back for McDavid. McDavid wraps it around. Milchikov makes the stop, juggles the rebound. Picked up by Korobov, who swings it around and finds Platt. Platt onside, winds and shoots, and that's knocked away by Talbot. As O'Reilly gathers up the loose puck. Tanev slides it ahead for Domi, and it's back down to the Canadian zone. And now an offside call at the Canadian line. 5:57 to go here in the second period.
Продолжается матч между командами Латвии и России.
Беларусь играет в полном составе.
Kevin Lalonde playing in his 3rd World Championship for Belarus, former Belleville Bull in the Ontario League. Gives way to Dmitry Milchikov. And 6 to go here in the second period. Both these teams have got a 2-day break. And playing again on Thursday, Canada will face Germany. Pardon me, Belarus will play on Wednesday against Slovakia. 1-day break for them. Gallagher chops that ahead. Guitarov goes back, being trailed there by Ryan O'Reilly. Canadians went for a late supper after a game on the weekend.
That didn't work out so well.
No, the team bus tried to go back to the hotel. The Canadians didn't realize that the drawbridges go up late at night here in St. Petersburg near their hotel. So they had to wait a couple of hours for the drawbridges to go back down as the ships made their way out.
Many options.
And now we got a penalty coming as Belarus touches up. Zhukov was peeling back into the body. Wants a piece of Brendan Gallagher. Take a number. It's a long list of people on both sides of the ocean who'd like to get some revenge on Gallagher.
Well, Domi closes tightly on Lizovitz, takes him into the corner, and there's the roughing call, holding call, I guess, on Lizovitz, and Canada up 5-0. We'll go back to the power play, and Mike Yeo is drawing on the board here as Derek Brassard goes back to the power play. And while the game's readily in hand, there's no practice time or not very much of it, so this becomes an in-game practice.
So O'Reilly with Brassard and Perry up front, Duchesne and Ceci on the back end. Brad Marchand has been out of the mix for a little bit for Canada. He was laboring with an injury in the training camp.
He's also hit with that high hit.
Right, Brassard pounds it wide.
Still sitting on the bench, so.
Duchesne in the corner for Perry. Back to Matt Duchesne. Works it back to Ceci. Cody Ceci to Duchesne. Has a lane, walks in, drops it down. Perry centers it. O'Reilly with 2 whacks at it. It's cleared out by Stas. Lead pass goes to Perry. Corey Perry winds his way in. Rink wide, he goes for Brassard. Back to the point for Ceci. Ceci to Brassard. Wrists it down to Perry. Shoots, and the sprawling defenseman Yavenko blocked it. And then Perry went cartwheeling over him. They're leg wrestling in front of the net. And the referee just points at the two of them. And it's
stop it.
Cut it out.
Just stop it, you two. You big guy and you that's been doing this for 12 years in the NHL, just stop it, would you? It's hard to believe Corey Perry's the oldest skater on this team. All of a sudden, not the young guy anymore.
So when did that happen? I was always the kid of these teams. Hall to McDavid.
Well, here he is.
Drops it back. Dumba drive, and the save made by Milchikov. And now more pushing and shoving as Mark Scheifele was in there.
Good save by Milchikov on the number 1-timer. And again, it's McDavid hanging onto the puck, drawing people to him, and then as he's backing up, laying this dish out that's right on the tee for Dumba. Oh, deflected halfway to the net by Scheifele as well. And there's Taylor Hall fishing around if there's a rebound there. Scheifele took a real jump this year, didn't he, Gord? Just a terrific year, 61 points, 29 goals in Winnipeg. And the look of the number 1 center they were hoping for when they drafted him. Dale Howardchuk, who the coach and GM in his junior team, said this guy's going to be a number 1 center. Howardchuk, of course, had plenty of years of doing that.
Howardchuk and Barry of the Ontario League. What a factory that's become, too. Across it goes to McDavid. Connor McDavid winds in, waits, taps it right in front, bouncing puck knocked away from Hall. And McDavid back on it. 15 seconds to go on the power play. Dumba to Scheifele to McDavid. Work down the dot, drops it down to Hall. Hall got the deflect right on goal, gets it right back. Hall to Stone, back to Dumba. Pops it across to McDavid. McDavid in, shoots it, triples down. Milchikov makes the stop, has the penalty. Shifley. The Belarus expires, and now an aggravated Dukov takes a bop at Shifley.
Shifley was the player that ran over Dukov
Right.
about 7 or 8 minutes ago, and probably looking to get a poke back at Shifley. Dukov is 20 years old as well. He plays in the junior league in Belarus.
Mark Shifley, the native of Kitchener, Ontario. Quick shot by Marchand, deflects high and wide as Andre Kostitsyn has it. Picked up by Marchand, back out for Canada. Alliance there with Gotovets. And at the line, it's held by Riley. Morgan Riley feeds it ahead for Jenner. That's knocked away, and Andre Kostitsyn has it back. Rink Whitey goes for Sergei Kostitsyn. Pulls it around Tanev, sends it back in front. Kaluzhny for Kostitsyn, a backhand shot. And Yuvenko was flattened in front of the Canadian goal. That's no mean feat. And the long shot taken there by Gotovets goes high and wide. Now picked up by Gallagher. Kaluzhny's all over him as Gallagher drops it back to Riley. To Domi. Canada in with numbers. Domi walks in. Feeds that rink wide for Riley. Back for Domi in this high slot. Spins and shoots off the skate of Gallagher and wide. Jenner swings it around. Andre Kostitsyn looking for it. He just shrugs Dumba off. And then Domi gets a hard right into Yuvenko. They continue their battle. Yuvenko calling back to the official. Lead pass by Matheson finds Reinhardt. Sam Reinhardt in, shoots, and a glove save there by Milchikov. Great move by Sam Reinhardt.
Reinhardt hasn't played very much, but he's had 2 really good scoring opportunities. Here's Reinhardt dragging to the middle of the ice. And a good close by Andre Stas, so Reinhardt can't take it all the way to the front of the net. There's Yuvenko. I think he clips his foot on the back of Boone Jenner's foot. Dave Lewis wants a tripping penalty.
Dumba. Up for Perry, knocked down by Kenko. Kenko plays it across, and Matheson bangs it back out for Canada to center right. Shots are 24-9 in favor of Canada. Stas works it, picked off by Broussard. Derek Broussard has it back ahead for Perry. Corey Perry winds his way in. Gets in a jousting match there with Christian Kenko. And it ensues as Hall picks it out of the corner. Hall tried to center it. Knocked down by Stas. He finds Gabrus. Former New Jersey draft pick. Gabrus with it. Wrap around try. Talent makes the stop and hangs on now flat. Got a stick up on Dumba.
Platt's a fast, kind of chippy player. He's played 8 years in the KHL. I like the way he plays. He battles for every inch of his space. He gets his hands up and clips Matt Dumba in the nose, but a pretty nice rush by Gabrus. Talbot shields it off nicely, and there's the push and shove with Jeff Platt. One of the Canadians that is able to play here in Belarus on their national team.
So it's an ongoing discussion, Ray, about the merits of that. Not that it should be illegal or anything, but whether it's good for a program to have that many transformed players, want to call them that, naturalized players.
Well, in a lot of cases,
Plays offside the gain line.
They simply don't have in a lot of smaller areas. They don't have enough players to field a team that would be competitive with most of the tournament.
By the way, you see Dave Lewis wearing the flower and ribbon on his jacket. Belarus, along with Russia and many of the old Soviet republics, honoring May the 9th. Belarus suffered inconceivable losses in the Second World War. A population of 9 million, roughly 25% of the population lost their lives. The entire country flattened twice as the war raged back and forth through it. It is walking around here talking to people and hearing the stories. It's hard for us to imagine what it was like here then and the losses that happened, and seeing people today carrying the photos of family members who were lost. More than 20 million people in the Soviet Union lost their lives in World War II. Today, the anniversary of the end of that horrible conflict. Now touched up by Pavlovich, another penalty coming to Belarus. And Roman Dukov, who's been in the middle of things all day, will go off.
Stick high on McDavid, slash on the hip, and eventually a penalty call as, again, McDavid uses his ability to put somebody on his hip, spin out on his edges, and clear space. I can only wonder what McDavid's going to be like in another year or two when some more muscle and a little more weight goes on. And how are you going to knock him over? I'm just amazed watching him skate.
Brassard drives this line across. Ceci pokes at it. Ceci got tangled up there with Katarov 20 seconds ago in the period. And Duchesne goes back for it. He was watching a collision in front of the bench there. And now Ceci has it back. Cody Ceci, former captain of the Ottawa 67s, tries to shoot that in. It ramps off a stick. Up and out of play.
Guy Boucher, the new coach in Ottawa, said he's going to spend time in getting to know all of his players. There's one of them in Cody Ceci that I believe he's going to like a lot. Ceci had an excellent second half of the year. I thought he struggled in the first part of the season, perhaps trying to do a little much as the Senators really never found their groove, but he's a clever player. He seems to have a really good feel to jump up into the play at the right time.
Now Duchesne trying to center. The arrival of Dion Phaneuf hated him greatly as Duchesne futters that on goal as time expires here in the second period. Taylor Hall strikes in that second period. Duchesne and O'Reilly, along with Perry, also the goal scorers. 5-0 Canada leads after 2.
Score after second period. Belarus 0, Team Canada 5. Shots on goal on the second period. Canada 16, Belarus 5. Счет после второго периода 5-0 в пользу команды Канады. Броски по воротам во втором периоде. Беларусь 5, Канада 16.
Matt, you get 4 in 5 minutes yesterday against Hungary, a bunch in the second period here today. One of the characteristics developing is you're scoring in bunches, aren't you?
Yeah, you know, I think the key is to just wear them down, and we did that with some good ozone shifts. We drew a penalty, got one, you know, we took a penalty, we got one in the penalty kill after, and we went from there, so it was a good period for us.
Seems to be a little bit chippy out there. Is there a lot of talking happening on the ice?
A little bit, yeah. They're seeming to want to get something going, after the whistles. It would be interesting to see if they did that in the NHL, but it's we got to play between the whistles, play hard, between those.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Номер 9. Team Belarus is playing at full strength. Команда Беларуси играет в полном составе. Team Belarus is playing at full strength. Команда Беларуси играет в полном составе. Команда Беларуси играет в полном составе.
Он всегда скрыт от взглядов, его хватка не вызывает сомнений. Именно на нем все держится. И когда нужен результат, его обеспечит Целизит. За надежную хватку отвечает плиточный клей, а затирка за безупречный внешний вид. За результатом стоит Целизит. Качество для профессионалов.
Это больше, чем спортивная форма. Это знак почета, символ гордости. И когда они надевают его, они не просто игроки. Они атланты, несущие на плечах свою страну, храбро сражаясь против лучших в мире. Имя на спине вам ничего не скажет. Главное – это герб на груди. Самые яркие звезды хоккея съедутся в Торонто, чтобы выяснить, чья сборная сильнее. Кубок мира по хоккею 2016. Билеты уже в продаже.
Taylor Hall and Team Canada 5-0 lead over Belarus after 2 periods of play. And Canada will open this third period with 1 minute and 26 seconds of power play time. Dmitry Michalkov has taken over for Kevin Lalonde in the Belarusian goal. Belarus in the A pool of the World Championship for the 12th consecutive year. They've been 7th each of the last 2 years, losing in the quarterfinals. They have not been in the top group of the World Junior Championship since 2007. Country of roughly 9 million between Russia and Poland. About an hour-and-a-half flight. Minsk is the capital, straight south of here.
Gord, Brad Marchand's not on the bench for Canada. He got hit high in the second period. He missed some practices at the start of the tournament before the tournament got underway with a lower body injury, so Marchand not back out for the third period.
David drops it off to Hall. Canada goes to work on the power play. Dumba to Hall. Dumba swings it across to Stone to McDavid. And in comes Connor McDavid. Swings it back to Dumba, winds and shoots, and Michalkov makes the save. And Taylor Hall thinking for a rebound. It won't come.
Hall right on the doorstep there is he's fishing away for the rebound, then all of a sudden he throws his hands straight in the air because he doesn't know where the puck is. Doesn't want to get called for goalie interference. Milchikov able to somehow wrestle the puck to be frozen for the faceoff.
Here's McDavid back with it. Connor McDavid winds in, sends it rink wide. Stone with a soft shot. Milchikov makes the stop, the rebound loose for a moment, and he'll hang on. And Mark Stone, the latest to receive a sweet pass from Connor McDavid.
Sometimes you've got to create the passing lane yourself. Stone is rather stationary. He moves into the pass a little bit, but McDavid creates the lane by moving about 5 or 6 feet to his right. But he does it so quickly that Belarus can't close that pass seam, and Stone gets a scoring chance on the other side.
Milchikov leaves it there for Korobov. To the line and out. And Stone ranges back to pick it up. 40 seconds to go in this Canadian power play. Mark Stone brings it back out. McDavid got tied up there by Komarov. And now Stone has it back. Lead pass for McDavid, busting in with Hall. Connor McDavid dashing in. That's knocked away by Korobov. 20 seconds to go in the power play. Ceci ahead to Scheifele. Nifty move by Scheifele as he comes walking in. Drops it off for Duchesne. Matt Duchesne winds his way in. Towards the goal line. O'Reilly centers and scores! Ryan O'Reilly tried to center it. Ticked off a skate in front. And it's 6-0 Canada.
O'Reilly's got a goal off his foot and one off a Belarus defender. Goes in the books as 2 goals. They're beautiful things, but this one is not. Duchesne's looking to move the puck. He can't find anyone to give it to, so he tries O'Reilly. O'Reilly's pass across hits Korobov in the foot and deflects into the net, and it's 6-0.
Remarkably, none of the 408 goals you scored in the NHL were ugly.
No, but they were all from about that far. I'm being serious. I can remember 3 or 4 goals from outside of 20 feet. That's not a highlight reel of goals. They just went in somehow.
Don't ask how many. That's 99's favorite expression.
But you'd think got a couple from 30 feet or something.
Breakaways?
Yeah, well, don't trust me. When I had a breakaway, they were from about 7 feet. I was getting in there to deke.
Here's Murray, a long shot knocked away by Milchikov. I'm learning more about you on this trip than I really want to.
Likewise.
Here's CC back with it.
Funny how that happens.
For Jenner, Boone Jenner, day off for us tomorrow.
Big
day. The tournament will, however, continue. Ryan Rashad will step in for us along with Sean Burke. As Jeff Platt brings it back the other way. Platt long shot, handled there by Talbot.
And maybe in the best news is your wife comes over with your daughter that all get some free time. She can try and listen to your theories and formulas and such. Ryan O'Reilly's 2 goals were a beautiful thing, as you would say.
Yes, dandy goals. O'Reilly, the first Canadian, scored twice in a game thus far in this World Championship. Beautiful goals they are.
I think he's going to try for the hat trick with a header.
For a hand pass. He's been a very valuable player wherever he's been. And the Buffalo Sabres, of course, made a major trade to get him, signed him to the richest contract in Sabres history, a 7-year deal. Scheifele, rink wide he goes. Reinhart in. Milchikov. So now with Marchand out, Sam Reinhart will take a regular shift for Canada at forward. Canada does have 2 roster spots open. He's on 20 skaters right now, so the Canadians could add 2 more players from North America, and you can do that at any time. Ralic, Ovechkin, and Thomas Buchanan's coming over very late to Prague last year.
Well, almost immediately, any roster composition will circle around whether Brad Marchand's okay to continue in the tournament or not. He's certainly not going to take any chances if he doesn't feel that he's near 100%. I mean, Ben Hutton is the 7th defenseman. This is, I believe, his 2nd shift of the afternoon.
Did not have a recorded shift in the 2nd period. Hutton plays it across. Matheson, a high shot that rattles off the glass. Picked up by Sergei Gostitsyn. And he swings back as Belarus changes. Pass bounces high in the air at the Canadian line, and Hutton back to pick it up. Banks it around for Mike Matheson. Native of Pointe Claire, Quebec. And now Hutton picks it up. Matheson's first time with Hockey Canada. He was not invited to try out for the World Junior team a couple of years ago, which raised some eyebrows. Their tablets up to play it. Guitarov shields off McDavid. Now played back. Horrible long shot. That's way wide. Elizabeth steps up for it. And loose puck picked up by Ryan Murray. Long lead pass. Corey Perry, great job to knock it down to the 360. And buys some time as Canada changes. Throws that rink wide. And Brassard taps it back for Ceci. Pavlovich. Trying it there at center ice by Taylor Hall. And Hall sprawls and throws it across. Dives to get onside, but doesn't make it in time. And the play is called at the Belarus line.
Derek Brassard got Canada on the board in the first period on the power play, and Corey Perry made it 2-0 early in the second period, but Duchesne's got 3 points, and O'Reilly's got a couple of goals. And Canada's stretched this out. Belarus, as we talked earlier, has had the 3 big boys of this side of the draw. In the first 3 games, they've given up 6 goals to every one of them.
So now their tournament really begins. The next 4 will decide their fate. Slovakia Wednesday, Germany, Hungary, then France. So there's points to be had for Belarus. I mentioned the top 4 out of 8 advance to the quarterfinal. But that is a tough draw to be handed as Canadian coach Bill Peters looks on. With Dave Cameron, the former head coach in Ottawa, at his side, along with Mike Yeo. Face off, one back to Morgan Riley with a quick shot that goes wide, knocked away by Milchikov. Brendan Gallagher spins and fires it down. Milchikov back to play it. And Andrei Kostitsyn waits for it, throws it rink wide. Tanev has to race back as Sergei Kostitsyn was bearing in on him, and Ryan O'Reilly knocks it down for Morgan Riley. For Tanev. Chris Tanev leads the rush, flips it across for Gallagher, back for Tanev, can't get a shot away. And Milchikov hangs on to that. Later on today, here in St. Petersburg at 8 o'clock local time, 1 o'clock Eastern, Finland takes on the United States. Now, normally you wouldn't be talking about 18-year-old draft-eligible players at the World Championship, but everyone's talking about Austin Matthews and Patrick Laine.
Laine 3 points in his first 2 games. And just a dynamic shooter on the power play. When that puck is anywhere in his wheelhouse, he gets rid of it in a hurry. The one thing that's impressive about the way he shoots the puck is his wheelhouse is pretty big. Like, he's such a big guy.
Ryan Hart, a backhand shot, turned away by Milchikov.
Uses a long stick, and the puck doesn't have to be right in the perfect spot for him to get rid of it.
Scheifele back for Murray. Ryan Murray looks down to Scheifele, inside 14 to go in the third period. Ryan Murray busts in and shoots and just missed wide. Out it comes for Jeff Platt, the speedster. Lined up there by Dumba, drops it back for Linglet. And Platt throws that through the middle of the ice. Stas couldn't knock it down. Reinhardt has it back for Canada. Ahead for Dumba, who had jumped in. And Scheifele picks up the loose puck, walks in and shoots, just missed far side. As he ducked that check from Andre Stas.
Nifty little move from Scheifele. He was able to dance into shooting position, just missed the far side.
Russia has a 3-0 lead on Latvia in the third period. Later today in Moscow, Sweden takes on the Czech Republic.
After watching that Yemelin hit where he sticks his knee out, Russia's going to be short a defenseman, I would think. That was a dangerous play.
Domi drops it down to McDavid, back for Domi. That pass picked off by Evgeny Kvershin. And Kvershin looks in for Gavrus. Belarus playing a defenseman short for this game this afternoon as Ilya Sienkiewicz was given a 1-game automatic ban for a match penalty for headbutting in the game against the United States. Ustanenko plays it back down to the Canadian zone, and Hutton's back to pick it up, but it's an icing call against Belarus with 12:38 to go here in the third.
Particularly in the first 15 or 16 minutes of the first period, Belarus did a real good job. Dave Lewis would have had to have been pleased with that. The power play stretched the game out. 2 power play goals against and 1 goal right at the end of another power play. I mean, for Belarus to hang here, it's got to be perfect for them pretty much start to finish. But the early part of the game, before you get worn down a little bit by Canada's depth and speed, they did a pretty good job.
So you can break the tournament down into thirds. For the teams at the top third, Canada, Russia, United States, Sweden, Czechs, Finns, they come here thinking they've got an excellent chance at a gold medal. Middle third, teams like Slovakia, Belarus, others. Switzerland. They've had good success in the tournament at times in the past. They would think if things go their way, it can happen. And then you've got the likes of France, Hungary, Germany, whose main goal is to avoid relegation and think if they can get to a quarterfinal, that's a pretty good result. And all the while try to build their program. And you can sneer all you want at teams near the bottom that quite often on the wrong end of lopsided scores, but for them to be here is a major accomplishment. And these are very small countries in a lot of cases.
Look out.
Morgan Riley just pulled up in time. Shevchenko was closing on him. Now Riley gets it back and shoots. And Milchikov makes the save.
He probably heard him coming. Riley was going down the left side and the giant Shevchenko was coming around the back of the net.
Here's Gallagher back with it. Steps around Kenkel, gets away from Sergei Kostitsyn. Still on it is Brendan Gallagher. And now Gallagher loose behind the goal. Shevchenko gives him a bump. And Kenkel has it back now for Belarus. Here's Gallagher, though, steals it away. Takes a couple of whacks from Shevchenko. And Jenner picks it up. And the play is called at the Belarus line. You're watching the 2016 World Hockey Championship from St. Petersburg, Russia.
Simply clever.
There's Canadian captain Corey Perry, Olympic gold medalist, World Junior champion in 05, Memorial Cup champion that year. His London Knights beat out Sidney Crosby's Rimouski Oceanic, among others, to win that title. Olympic gold in Vancouver in 2010, and again in Sochi in 2014. Spent the first, would you say, decade of his high-level career being underestimated, Ray? Junior, early on in the NHL, people wondered if a guy who skated like that could make it, as Matheson shoots and Milchikov makes the stop.
Yeah, he went from a guy that couldn't skate to a guy that only scored, which of course seems to be such a problem.
Now Stone with a great steal, drops it back for Scheifele, and for Stone, scores! Stone starts it, finishes it, and it's 7-0 Canada.
Guy's a thief. Does it all the time. Steals the puck, great stick, turns the play over, and then is on the recipient or the receiving end of a gorgeous pass from Scheifele. Look at this. Whoop, poked away. There you go. Now he's got the puck again. Drop pass to Scheifele. And it may seem elementary, but the key to the end of the play is watch Stone as he realizes he's getting away from the net. He hits the brakes, stays in front of the goal line. If he goes another foot or foot and a half farther, his stick's going to be beyond the post. He can't score. Clever play at both ends by Mark Stone as Lingland had the puck poked away by Stone, and then Mark Stone is able to push it into the net for his second goal of the tournament.
Followed by Domi, almost got a shot away. Now Ben Hutton turned away by Milchikov. To borrow the old expression, with hands like that, he could steal the hubcaps off a moving car.
Just seems to have a way of getting his stick into the position where the puck's going to be. Great anticipation.
I remember being told about him, his coach in junior, saying that his hockey sense is off the charts. And people talk about his skating too much now, but he just knows where to go.
Well, we were just talking about Corey Perry. At some point, does it really matter that he's not going to win the skating race up and down the ice? He gets a hand applause from Calvin Pickard. He gets to where he needs to go fast enough. He's not slow, not even close. He's not going to win the skating race, not even close.
Demkov center the tip wide there by Katarov.
And I could care less. I can guarantee you, Dave Cameron loved coaching him, and Guy Boucher is going to love coaching him too.
Just like everyone who's ever coached Corey Perry loved having him.
Can't stand him when you're coaching against him. Well, I mean, Perry. I don't know if opponent coaches hate Mark Stone. I don't think so, the way they would have disliked Corey Perry over the years.
And that chip on the shoulder for Perry, and to a lesser extent Stone, has really helped propel them to where they are now.
Perry was always one of those guys early in his career where he just accidentally would clip somebody with an errant stick or stumble onto the goalie accidentally. Or it's actually kind of entertaining to watch because he's so good when he gets the puck around the net too.
Ryan Murray plays it across. Jenner a drive that was blocked. And the rolling puck back to center ice, picked up by Dumba. Canada opened the tournament with a 5-1 win over the U.S., then beat Hungary 7-1. Next up, Germany on Thursday. O'Reilly flips it right back in front. Gallagher couldn't contain it. And Andrei Kostitsyn has it back now for Belarus. Rink wide he goes to his brother Sergei, walks in. Got back to Andrei, flipped that wide. And Gallagher straightens up Sergei Kostitsyn. And now Canada changing as Dumba comes on. Stone brings it ahead. The one amazing thing about Stone is it never looks like he's wearing a helmet that fits. He's perpetually adjusting his helmet in play. And there's Stone back with it. Like Scott Stevens used to have that shrug, kind of like a Stevens reset. He'd just shrug all of a sudden, get everything back where he wanted it. And then flatten you. Scheifele loose in the corner with it. Gonna spin it back there for Reinhardt. He got turned around and Stas is gonna go off. And so Canada with 7:36 to go in the third period holds a 7-0 lead. And we'll go back to the power play.
Number 23, Андрей Стась. 2 minutes penalty for cross-checking. За толчок соперника клюшкой. Малым штрафом наказан игрок команды Беларуси Андрей Стась, номер 23.
Canada back to the power play, 7:36 to go in the third period. Different look now. McDavid, Domi, Gallagher on the back end. It'll be Matheson and Murray. If you put Sam Reinhart in place of Gallagher, I think you've got the power play of the 2015 World Junior.
Hard to believe that Gallagher would be the oldest guy out here.
Here's Murray back with it. Matheson winds and shoots. Milchikov fights it off, still loose. Domi digging for it. He gets thrown down. Another pileup ensues. And once again, Oleg Yavenko, being number 25, is in the middle of it. I think he's got a chance to play for their team, Ray. More seasoning in the American League.
Well, he had a pile of penalty minutes in the American League, and although he was not playing in the playoffs as Lake Erie's still at it.
Yeah.
It's a big deal to come and play, though, so you ask and you hope.
Dallas made Esa Lindell available. He's leading the Finnish team in ice time per game as Murray plays it down for Gallagher. Once upon a time, you had to make players available to the World Championship. That rule has been adjusted somewhat. Mostly teams are accommodated, though, as Domi comes in, slides it rink wide. A quick shot by Matheson goes high and wide. It was a famous case of Brian Burke as the GM of Team USA back in '93. Also, the GM of the Hartford Whalers refused to release Michael Nylander. It was finally ruled that Nylander hadn't been made available to Sweden. Came over, had 5 points in a 6-3 win in the quarterfinals against Burke's Team USA. Burke did not take that as well as you might have thought. McDavid in, pops it back across for Matheson.
I don't think anybody thought he would take it well.
It was giving the benefit of the doubt. Here's McDavid, walks in and shoots. It trickles just wide of the goal. Gallagher picks it up, trying to center it. That's knocked away. 40 seconds to go in the power play. Matheson shoots, scores! Mike Matheson walks in. He's got goals in back-to-back games now. And it's 8-0 Canada.
Another power play goal. That's the third for Canada. And At no point is Belarus able to get the puck down the ice, to get fresh people on the ice. Yavenko's been out there for 90 seconds, and when Gallagher's stymied here on a nice play by Kavershin, Matheson's got enough time to turn around, square up, and then beat Milchikov with the slap shot to the far side. Head up the whole way and inside the circle. Quick little shot, it deflects off Yavenko's stick.
Goal for Team Canada was scored by number 7.
Past Milchikov.
Assisted by number 11, Brendan Gallagher, and number 97, Connor McDavid.
Stone flips it high in the air inside. 6 to go now in the third period. Sam Reinhart picks it up. In comes Reinhart. Brad Marchand, if you're joining us, shaken up in the second period. Has left this game as Ben Hutton winds and shoots and trickles down towards the goal, picked up by Stone. Stone for Scheifele. Back in front for Scheifele. And picked out by Pavlovic. Stone chips it up for Reinhart. Stanenko gets bumped in the corner. And now Scheifele drops it for Stone. Back to Dumba, winds and shoots a bullet shot when just wide. Rattles off the glass and out of play. That Dumba can really shoot the puck. A career-high 10 goals this year for Minnesota.
Another guy that'll be working for a new man behind the bench is Bruce Boudreau. Takes over in Minnesota.
And the man caught it off the glass, fortunately for him.
Give him the puck back here in his hand. Can't take it from him.
You see the burgundy and gold ribbons. They're worn here like poppies are on November 11th in Canada. We mentioned this is Victory Day in Eastern Europe and across much of Europe. May the 8th is where the celebration takes place in much of Europe, but it was after midnight in the Soviet Union when the armistice was signed, the surrender agreement. And so as a result, in Russia and the former Soviet republics, May the 9th is the day. Andrei Kostitsyn blocks that pass. Shovels it down to the Canadian zone. Every once in a while they play a sound effect during the game.
In the middle of the play.
The players were saying they found it kind of unnerving at first.
They also found it unnerving yesterday when the Hungarians were hitting the beach ball around it.
Yeah, Brendan Gallagher was admitting that he was getting distracted, as you did, during the game.
Don't see it very, it was kind of neat.
All right, Murray walks in, wide open, shoots. Milchikov makes the stop. Picked up now by Demkov. Artem Demkov tries to bust in on Ceci, who knocks that away. Gallagher steps into Komarov. And Gallagher just shortened his swing and bunted that up to center ice. Gallagher mentioned had surgery on those 2 shattered fingers hit by a Johnny Boychuk shot. And Jenner comes in and shoots, that's kicked out. Then fell awkwardly for Montreal. Did the splits, and that kicked him another dozen games or so. Here's Gallagher back with it. Keeps a sharp angle and pinballs down towards the goal. And Milchikov pounces on that as Jenner was in looking for the rebound.
Just doesn't stop working, never has, was almost an afterthought by the Vancouver Giants. Drafted late in his junior draft year.
Yeah.
Worked his way onto the Giants in a couple of years, was the captain.
5th round pick by Montreal.
Maybe we can find something here. And then in his rookie year, they had a couple injuries. They called him up and just refused to go back down. He played so well, they had no choice.
Had 3 straight 40-goal seasons for the Giants. I remember talking to their coach and GM Don Hay. He went to a junior camp, played across by Domi from Duchesne. Domi centers it. And Hay said, he'll make this team, and he'll be an important part of it. He always is. And sure enough, he was. Gavras to Kavershin. And Montreal missed him.
Missed him a great deal. I mean, they couldn't score when he was in the lineup. Then he went out, and of course, Carey Price was the big story. But when Gallagher went out too, you lost a lot of your heartbeat of the team, as well as the game's best goalie. He just never recovered. All of a sudden, they couldn't score. Nobody could score, and you're not going to replace Carey Price on a season-long basis.
Platt knocks it down. Looks ahead to Pavlovich. And Pavlovich bumped there by Tanev. Pavlovich doggedly on it. It's knocked away from him and sent down the ice.
I get it. Good one.
You know what? We didn't do trivia tonight.
Why not? You're sleeping.
That's my bad. 8-0. We should have been doing trivia at 6-0.
You were waiting to get the Pavlov thingamajiggy.
Yeah, exactly. Sergei Kostitsin with a quick shot that rattles high off the glass.
You must have had that rattling around.
No, I
did
didn't. No, I just kind of
came
thought
out
of it. Yeah. Couldn't you tell? Stone with it. Rink wide, maps it in. A little slap pass there. Couldn't find Scheifele. Knocked down by Perry. In comes Corey Perry. Shoots up high. Milchikov makes the stop. Here's Hall with it. Taylor Hall winds his way through center ice. Drops it off. That pass picked off by Katarov. And played in the Canadian zone, but the play is called offside.
Once they got through their slow start, I thought Canada started to move the puck a lot better. They really overwhelmed Belarus with their speed, and as hard as Belarus worked and works, they're just not able to keep up, and the game went from 1-0 to 5-0 in a hurry.
So Canada will run its record to 9-0 all-time against Belarus. Followed up a 9-0 win in the quarters last year with at least an 8-0 win here. And now a scramble in front of Talbot. And Cam Talbot, kind of forgotten man here in the third period, makes the save. Just the third shot on goal by Belarus here in the period. Panarin has scored again in Moscow. He's got 2. And Russia has a 4-0 lead.
The loss in the first game now looks like back-to-back nights. There's the time chart. You see Korobov up at 24.5 minutes. Canada pretty much spread their ice time around.
Here's a trivia question for you. Ready? There's a player in this game who played in the under-18s, the World Junior, and the World Championship in the same year.
He's on Belarus.
Yep.
I think the answer seems to be one of the Kostitsins, but I don't think it is. I'm going to go off the board.
We're going off the board here, okay.
And I'm going to say Gorovets.
No. Go with your initial instincts.
One of the Kostitsins?
Yeah.
Andre.
Yes.
Yeah, see, it seemed too simple a question, Gordon.
Well, I'm flattered that you. I'm glad you think I'm so complex.
I just wanted to go off the board, Alex, for 100.
Yeah. It's a pretty good accomplishment. Had Jesse Puljujärvi been healthy and selected for the Finnish squad, he could have accomplished that. As Finland won the gold medal at the World Junior, then the under-18s, and is looking good here at the World Championship as well. That trickles back to Scheifele in the dying seconds here in the third period. Mark Scheifele back with it. Works it back across the crease, can't find Stone. Scheifele down to Stone. And time expires here as Canada records an 8-0 victory over Belarus. Final shots 40-13 in favor of Canada. So the Canadians are now 3-0 in this tournament. Have won 13 consecutive games of the World Championship back to last year. Next up, Germany on Thursday. Belarus drops to 0-3 with a tough part of the schedule behind them. They've posted losses to Finland, the U.S., and Canada. They've got Slovakia, Germany, Hungary, and France still to come. Canada now with 9 points. And we'll stand by for the player of the game presentations and the national anthem. And we'll stand by again for the game later on tonight here in St. Petersburg, 8 o'clock local time, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. It'll be Finland against the United States. Get your scouting hats on and watch Austin Matthews against Patrick Laine. Matthews playing for Team USA, Laine for Finland.
International, official sponsor of the 2016 IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship. Дамы и господа, Raiffeisen International Bank, официальный спонсор чемпионата мира.
Really, the only concern here for Canada is the health of Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
I would assume in the next little bit they'll make a determination as to how he's doing, whether he'll continue in the tournament or not, and hopefully it's something minor that allows him to stay, but he's got to look at the big picture, and will do so for sure.
Best player of Team Belarus. Number 15, Artem Demkov.
Artem Demkov, former Quebec League player for Cape Breton and Acadie Bathurst. Spent 3 years with Elmira in the ECHL before coming back to Belarus.
The prize will be presented by Dmitry Burykin, head of protocol of the Expo-Forum International Company. Приз вручает Дмитрий Александрович Бурыкин, руководитель сектора протокола компании Expo-Forum International. The best player of Team Canada, number 24, Corey Perry.
The captain, Corey Perry, is Canada's player of the game.
A goal and an assist on the first 2 Canadian goals. Beautiful pass to Derek Brassard to get things started, and then his own goal early in the second period.
And so now, as they have after every game of the last 2 World Championships, the Canadians will line up and hero Canada.
Gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of today's game winner, Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm thanks to volunteers to help in organization of this game. Дамы и господа, мы благодарим волонтеров.
Derek, another convincing win for your team. All kinds of offense. Does it feel like things are really clicking into place?
Yeah, it's nice to see. Like we're trying to find some chemistry between lines, and tonight it was a great example. They gave us a good push in the first period, but I thought we played really well. We played a really solid game.
Scored 20 goals in 3 games. That has to bring a lot of confidence offensively.
Yeah, well, we know we have a talented team, but we have to work hard. And like I said, those guys that gave us a push in the first period, we answered the right way. And we have a lot of skills in this room, but at the end of the day, if we're not working, it's not going to work.
That power play really seems to have gotten sorted out here in the last day and a half or so.
Yeah, well, we're working on it, and we're doing a lot of videos and trying to get a feel for each other. But we made some plays tonight. We shot the puck, and if you do that, good things gonna happen.
Thanks, Derek.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate that. Good. All right, Mike, let's start with the goal. You had the puck on your stick for a little bit of time, and then a pretty good shot there, just lots of time to work with.
Yeah, I was trying to go up top to the defenseman in the middle, and they kind of were trying to push down on me, so I just cut towards the net and tried to get on net.
Your team has scored 20 goals in 3 games. Just the confidence offensively really seems to be coming together.
Yeah, I think so. You look at the firepower that we have on the team, it's no question that we're going to generate things, and it's great that we're clicking so well together.
How's this experience been for you to come here and play with a group of guys like this?
It's been pretty incredible for sure. It was a surprise when I got the call, and it's always an honor to wear this jersey, so I've been pretty happy to be here.
What was your route here like? Did it take some doing to get here, and you have a bit of an adventure travel-wise?
Yeah, so I played in Hershey, Pennsylvania with the Portland Pirates, and then we lost in the playoffs that night. Bus back through the night about 9 hours, and then got back to Portland, packed up all my stuff, drove down to Boston, and caught a flight back out here.
Whatever it takes, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Good
totally
stuff.
Worth it.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Just in French, team just played another really solid game and lots of goals.
Ouais, c'est sûr qu'on commence à jouer bien offensivement. Je pense que ça commence défensivement. On joue de la bonne manière, puis là, on garde les choses simples. Donc, quand on fait ça, qu'on utilise notre skill, ça va bien.
And this experience for you must mean a lot?
Oui, c'est sûr. C'est un grand honneur de pouvoir mettre ce jersey-là. Puis c'est sûr que c'est vraiment fun de pouvoir jouer avec ces gars-là.
Appreciate your time.
8:45 tonight.
There's someone playing in Russia for Team Canada that brings out the best in Mark Scheifele. He was terrific for Canada in the World Junior Tournament in Ufa, Russia, and now emerging here at the World Championship.
Well, if Canada's going to do well later in the tournament, of course you're going to need production from the middle of the ice. And Derek Brassard's had a good start to the tournament. He scored the first goal on the power play for Canada against Belarus here. But Scheifele really had a terrific game. I like the way that he handles the puck. He seems more and more confident with it. He's making some more plays. He showed a little bit of agility along with his power game. He took a charging penalty where he steamrolled one of the players. But he and Mark Stone seem to have a real nice fit together. And as Derek Brassard was talking after the game, they're trying to find some chemistry and get comfortable with each other line to line, but it looks like Stone and Scheifele have something going, and Scheifele found Stone with a beauty for Stone's goal in the third period.
You figure Scheifele, an Ontario guy, plays in Manitoba. Stone, a Manitoba guy, plays in Ontario. Why wouldn't they get along? Next up for Canada, Germany on Thursday.